So, Jonathan, first question. It was important for you to make this film at this point, even if, of course, the moment that you talking about are quite in the past. It was something really that you wanted to talk about right now.
What? You woke me up. Uh, I I made this film recently, but I had the idea years ago because it's not easy to get money. I had the idea like 10 years ago or more, and I was trying to get money in the UK. Um, couldn't get it for a long time. Eventually got the money in France. But, you know, I'm always looking for ideas, and usually they're coming from my own experience. And this was an experience that I had as a student, and I wanted to, well, I wanted to forget it for a long time, and then but then I started telling people the story, and people found it interesting, and I found it quite emotional to tell this story because it was always started funny and then became quite sad and shocking and then sad, and also felt a bit guilty about the events that happened in the film, in the story, and well, I just thought it would be a good a good idea to make it into a film because it's a strong story, and I was also trying to make sense of what happened, and somehow by making the film I kind of grew to understand a bit more about what was going on at that time.
It seems you've got some difficulties actually producing the film. It's a project that you have for quite a long time, I guess. I think. So, is it difficult today to produce short film in UK?
Yeah, as I said, it's taken me 10 years or so. I first tried to get the funding in the UK, and I tried three different organisations, and there was there wasn't anything. I mean, even if I had got money in the UK, it would not be even 1/10 of the money that I would need to make this film. So yeah, it's not good in the UK. I think it's improving now, but it used to be good like until about 20 years ago. Channel 4 was funding animation, the Arts Council was funding animation, but that all stopped, and there's just been nothing. So, but I think there's a new scheme which the British Film Institute is starting for short film animation filmmakers. So there's hope now, at least. Not quite enough money, but at least some hope.
You have actually the habit to work alone, and this time you work with a studio. It was kind of difficult for you to exchange with them, or it was quite easy and even maybe interesting to share the way you animate and the way you draw with somebody else in a studio like Tran.
I've made lots of films on my own, and I like working alone. But I'm quite happy working in teams as well. You have to plan things out a bit more carefully, and relinquish a little bit of control. But the main thing is if you've got a good team, you're going to get a good result. And if there were no problems with working with studio training. In fact, they're much better animators than me, so the only challenge was to show them how to animate badly, like I do. And there was a little bit of difficulty understanding English colloquial language. sort of strong regional Midland accents are quite hard to understand even in the UK. So there were some explanations, but on the whole, it was a great experience working on this particular team.
You make music also. You have a band. Is the thing that you're making music for you? I don't know. Influence in some way the way you do animation and you do a cinema, or maybe it's the other way around. The way you do cinema influences actually the way you make music.
Well, yeah, art came first. Really, I was drawing from the moment I could hold a pencil. Really, and music came a bit later in my life when I was sort of in my teens, and I've been in bands since I was about 15 years old, and still I'm one today. That's my new album by the Cult Figures. Um, and it's very good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like when I went to art school and then kind of missed the kind of connection with music so much. So I kind of chose to do animation partly because I could combine music in soundtracks with animation. So yeah, and I think the music. I don't know if one influences the other particularly, but I'm certainly the soundtracks I've produced have been very important to get right, and a certain feel. And with Rough House, the music is essential. And I was working with the drummer Stuart Hilton from Cult Figures, who's done some soundtracks for some of my other films, and he, we worked together, but he kind of composed the music and played it all, and it was very important to get the music that sounded kind of authentic to the period of the sort of late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, I think it's difficult to say whether how one influences the other, but there are some processes. In both cases, you're working with time, across time, and certainly with modern music and animation techniques using computers, you work with a timeline and it looks quite similar. But I don't know. In a way, they're also quite separate. So, I mean, animation takes forever, and music is quite quick and immediate. So it's refreshing to make music because you can. The other day we were in a recording studio and recorded 8 songs completed in 2 days. I mean, that's half an hour of music. So how could you do that with animation? It's not possible. So maybe it's just like you have to escape from one kind of art which is quite labor intensive to one which is quite quick and immediate, and so they work alongside each other.
Do you have contact with the person you talk about in the film? And if yes, he saw the film, and if yes, what did he thought about it?
Um, you're talking about the Shirley character. The central character in the film, I don't think he knows that he's in the film, or maybe he does now. For a long time, I was thinking of approaching him, but he lives in Italy now, in Sicily, and I haven't seen him for 35 years at least, and I'm not sure what he thinks about the film or the subject matter. I mean, knowing him, he'd probably think I was wasting my time to even bother with it, but he kind of thought that most of what I did was a bit pretentious and pointless. So I never told him, but the other day, I posted something on Facebook, and that I I got a small prize at a festival, and he's never on Facebook, like not for maybe 5 years, but he wrote a comment and he said, "I'm happy for you." And when I saw that, I felt very frightened. I don't know what he meant by happy.
The person actually in the film really existed, so you gave them voices. It was a hard task to give voices to people who already, of course, have voices. It was quite difficult for you, or it really didn't really matter actually.
Some of the other characters in the film I'm still friends with, and I still see them regularly, so they know all about the film. But I mean, they're like old men like me now, so the voices have changed. So I needed young people to do the voices. I had to find young men from the Midlands who had the similar accents. But the trouble is now that the accents have changed. The Midland accents has become kind of mixed up with American and kind of Middle Eastern and African accents, and it's become something different now. So it's hard to get this authentic Brummie accent. So we had quite a lot of time it took a lot of time to train the actors in how to speak in a natural Brummie accent. But it was an interesting process.
And do you have a new project? Yeah, now that this one is finished, do you want to make another film soon?
Right now, I'm between films. My main creative output is going into recording and mixing a new album for Cult Figures, which hopefully will be completed in a couple of months. I'm very excited about this, and this is where I'm putting my energy right now. But at the back of my mind, there's another film starting to develop, and in fact there's about 3 different films floating around. A short abstract film, an animated documentary, probably about flying, or my fear of flying, and a film maybe about a memory. I had a dream about my mother. I was a small child, and my mum was swimming in the sea, and she was getting further and further away, and I was losing her. And in reality, my mother's still here, but I kind of lost her in a different way because of her mental illness. And so I have an idea for a film which is about the story of when I lost my mum in a department store when I was 4 years old, and this was possibly the first moment when she started to behave in a strange way, the first manifestation of her madness. And so I think it's an important moment. I've made films about madness before, but I think it's still something that has a big effect on me in my life. It's still there. Hopefully not so much in myself, but definitely a subject which I'm still coming to terms with and still trying to explore. So this is 3 possibilities for the future. I don't know which one I'll start first.